Metals and Glass 2, hello. How are you doing today? We're doing our very first project, which is made with metal wire, right? So already we're off to a great start. And this is also a project that we would have done in class 2. So I'm excited that we get to do something sort of normal. What you need for this project, there's some colored wire in your kit. You can choose if you want to use all 3 colors or just 1 or 2 of them. It's up to you. I do think if you use more colors, there's more dimension in your final project. You also need either that needle nose plier wire cutter combo, or you need one of each. Really, you can do most of the manipulation with your fingers, but if you have pliers, it's sometimes kind of nice. And then the first step is actually to measure out 72 strands of wire that are 2 feet long. So you can do an approximation. I have a measuring tape that I've always had around here, and I actually have it taped down, I don't know if you can see that or not, at the 24-inch mark, so I kind of have a frame of reference. Oh, now I've messed up my camera, how dare I. So yeah, so really with this wire packaging, you kind of take this piece off. You can put it back on there when you're done using it if you want to, and then you just find the end of the wire and untwist it, and it should come off, okay? And then you just measure out 72 pieces. That's what we're doing first day. Okay, I'm done. That took me 10 minutes. How long did it take you? When you're done, you can gather them all up. Okay, once you have them gathered, I would spend a little time and try to make sure that they're sort of even, right? Like, obviously the branches are going to be organic and different lengths anyways, but if you have some that are way too short, they might not want to cooperate later. So if you can even them out a little bit. And once you have them even-ish, this is the hardest part physically for this whole project, is you're going to gather the wire around like 3 fingers and then twist it 2 times around. So no, you don't have to use 3 fingers exactly, but you should grab it, again, I'm trying to grab it in the middle-ish, right? And then you're just going to kind of pinch it together and then twist 2 times. It's a little hard to do. Also, you shouldn't have it in one big glob like I just did. Whoops! It should be in like 2 different sections still. Okay, so there's my twist. So this is the trunk of your tree, if that makes any sort of sense. This loop down here is going to be the roots of your tree, and then this is going to be the canopy or the branches of your tree. So what we just did, how we had 2 chunks of wire and then we twisted them twice, that's really what you're going to do for the rest of the project too. How to make the limbs of the tree. Obviously you can, if you find a different way to do it or you want to make a tree a different way, you can totally do that. This is just the way I'm teaching you. But if, you know, it's gonna be a very specific type of tree when I'm done. So if you don't wanna do it that way, that's okay. You can do it a different way. You might wanna use some of the same techniques though. So again, you're just gonna take one of the branches, you're splitting it into 2 chunks, it doesn't have to be even, and then you're twisting it around at least 2 times. And again, if you twist it more, that limb of the branch of the tree, limb of the tree is going to be longer, the more you twist it, right? So if you want like the base branches to be a little thicker and longer, you could do that. Otherwise, you do want to have a lot of variation coming off of this. So once you've done that, now you have 2 sections here, right? You take one of those 2 sections, split that in half, and then you twist again. 2 times. And you can see too, because I use different colors, like the trunk of my tree is pretty blue. It's pretty dominant with the blue color, but now this branch is going to be pretty silver by the time I get to the end to it. There's some green in there too. And then we're just going to repeat it again. This is what you're doing until you're down to single branches. So taking one branch, splitting it into 2, and then twisting it 2 times. Taking one of those branches, splitting it into 2, twisting it 2 times. I mean, I'm not doing it exactly 2 times because I don't know. I'm not good at following the directions apparently. Now you can see out of those 2 branches, these 2 are just singletons. Maybe you can't see that. I have one branch that's just 2 pieces of wire. So now that's going to be my last one. I'm going to twist it into 2, or twist it 2 times, I'm sorry. And that's the end. So then these are just, they're going to be single branches kind of at the end. This is where you could add an embellishment. Like if you wanted to put something on there that looked like leaves, you could do that. So little beads at the end. If you wanted to manipulate these, so like they're hanging down like the willow tree that we looked at, you could do that. You could take your needle nose pliers. Can you see? Am I in camera? You could take your needle nose pliers and just pinch it and twist it at the end 1 time. And that would give you, is that in focus? You know, that little circle could represent a leaf. You could do that a couple times, make a couple leaves there. It's really up to you, but the more time you put into it, the cooler your tree will be, obviously. So now you're repeating that with all these other branches. So split them in 2, twist it twice until you're done with the canopy or all of the branches. Okay, so now you kind of see this whole thing. I have 1/4 of it done, right? Like just this section, I have to do the same thing to this section, and then I'm going to split this into 2 and do it again. You can see some of my tree branches are really long. So again, if you're going to use those as embellishments, that's great. You also can just decide like, oh, I don't want that long, and cut it off where you see fit. And remember, you can bend them different ways too. So you can make it look however you want, and you should be thinking about that, right? Like I know trees are organic, they're going to grow different ways, and sometimes they're uneven and all of those good things, but also this is artwork, so sometimes it needs to have a rhyme or reason, right? So just think about that too. Okay, so here's a tree. And again, you can, you know, move these branches so they fill in a lot of space, so it really looks 3-dimensional. So it's not just like growing out one way, but it's growing out all the way around. And now, to do the base, this is when you should think about too, like if you're gonna connect your tree to something, if you're gonna have a base that it's going to sit on, you might wanna cut through all of these and just repeat the process, or just use the wire to attach it to whatever it is that you're putting it on. In order to make this without a base, we're just gonna do kind of the same thing where we pull it apart, right? We have two different sections now, and then you're going to twist the whole loop together to create the roots. And then you're going to repeat that on the opposite side. So you're just taking that second loop that you made and twisting it, and then you half that, you divide that in half, and you twist each of those two sections. Again, you really only have to twist them 2 times, but if you want to twist them more, you'll understand what I mean when you're working on it and you're like, oh, it needs like one more go around. Okay, so here it is, the final product. Okay, email me if you have any questions. Otherwise, we'll see you in class. I hope you have a great day.